Now back by popular demand, I'm going to do this comparison between the tacking method, running a straight stringer, and doing a proper root bead. Now this one, I'm just doing a tacking method. Make sure you stick around for part 2 on this channel, so follow and subscribe, and I'm going to do a bend test on all 3 of these. But this one here, I do the tacking method. I just brush it down instead of grinding it down like you're supposed to, and then I just run a big old 70-18 weave just to cover everything up. Really, this is not the best method to do it because it overheats the material and can cause some brittleness and some cracking, along with a lot of porosity. Brush it all up, looks pretty good. Now that root bead, well, that root bead's not really there, actually. Not there at all. Now this second one, instead of doing the tacking method, I'm just going to run a straight bead across the root. Now I still have tight space, so I'm not going to get full penetration. Matter of fact, it's still going to be incomplete penetration, but the point of this is to show you that you are better off just doing a straight stringer without tacking, even if you don't get penetration, versus doing that little tacking method. So I already did that, just brushed it off. Now I'm running the hot pass or the fill pass, just covering it with some 1/8" 70-18. Brush that off, and then I'm going to cap it with a single bead, weaving it back and forth. Now this weave is going to overheat this material and could cause issues in the bend test. Now I am running on 836, so it probably should be okay, but on the higher carbon steels and low alloy steels, overheating the material and doing weaves can be a huge problem. And as you can see, that root bead isn't really there at all again. So now we're going to do it the proper way. It took a little bit more space, and with that 60-10 rod, I am pushing that root in there. My rod is actually contacting those bevels, and you can see there's a lot more action happening on the back side than there is the front side. That's a good thing. That means I'm getting good penetration. So instead of brushing this off, I'm going to grind it down, getting all them wagon tracks out, make sure all that slag's out, that way I don't trap it. And I'm going to run a hot pass with 1/8" 70-18, about 145 amps, making sure it's in there. Not going to focus on filling up this bevel. I don't want to fill it up. I just want to get a hot pass so I can push that bead in a little further. I try to end up brushing this off, but of course that 70-18 slag gets stuck on the side of the bevel, so I use my grinder to clean that up a little bit, make sure that slag is out there. Now I'm going to run my fill pass. My fill pass is going to be a single weave. I have enough space to do it with 1/8" 60 or 70-18, and I'm just going to weave it in there nice and gentle. Now the slag comes off pretty easy in this case. And then I'm going to cap it. Well, instead of doing a single cap, I'm going to do a double cap. 2-pass cap. Now this 2-pass cap is going to keep the heat more spread out, more even, keep the heat affected zone a little smaller. That way this metal becomes less brittle. Like I said, on 836, it's not as big of a concern, but on higher carbon steels, low alloy steels, it is. And after doing all that, I'm going to brush this up. And again, it looks pretty good. And we're going to turn this around and look at the root bead here once I'm done brushing it. And this root bead, as you can see, is convex. It is in there. Now stay tuned for the bend test for part 2.